Well, that was a game of League of Legends that we just witnessed. Evil Genius Prodigies! Maryville, what an end to a game.
They clutched it out, boys! The
Wow.
Prodigies! They did it! I can't believe that. Oh my god. There's so much stuff that just happened in front of our eyes. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Wow.
they won game one! They did it. Niles died one time. And it's over.
Yeah, and I mean, I was so curious what these teams were gonna bring in draft, and it was like two completely different comps.
Yeah.
And man, I mean, I mean, I guess we could start with the early game. I mean, all right, okay, we have the draft here. So like with the draft,
Yeah.
it's just EG went for double mage carries and Zinzao Renekton. Honestly, I wasn't too much of a fan of picking Syndra with Ziggs, but you could still make it work. It's obviously you just got to be more efficient. And then on the Maryville side, they have a lot of setup. Jarvan Thresh is probably, it's like one of my favorite support jungle combos. You can cover so much distance with Flag and Dragon Lantern. But the main thing that I didn't see was Maryville not really using that early game. This game was very, like, it was 0-0 until like 7 minutes, I believe. And I would prefer to have Maryville to like maybe burn some flashes, flash for flash, and get some value off your level 6 Cataclysm from Jarvan. That didn't really come through. It became, it kind of went blow for blow at one point. It was just, I mean, we can get into it once we have the replays.
Yeah.
The Herald was a big thing. MU got the first dragon, but they couldn't keep stacking them, which is, I think, is a really important thing against, you know, these champions like Thresh and Jarvan, which you can just hold control really easily. I would have liked for them to stack the dragons. That wasn't really possible given how the game went. EG Prodigies really good. I mean, they got Renekton ahead. They did what they had to. The game went so hectic. I mean, Niles was up 100 CS at the end of the game or something. I mean, it went all over the place. So, I mean, maybe Smacks, you want to take like the first replay I think we have here, or
The first, like, the first 10 minutes of this game being so slow is really crazy, knowing what happened in the rest of it. Like, every single time in this tournament that I see, like, Xinjia versus Jarvan, they both full clear, and they're level 4, and they're like, alright, I'm gonna recall. I just get a little bit sad. And no offense to Odd Orange and Parry, like, it's a fine strategy to wait until you're stronger, but just get in there, man. Get some gangs going.
Just, you know what? One of the junglers is to say, you know what? I'm taking both crabs. I'm gonna walk through mid,
Exactly.
and I'm gonna cause an altercation. So that did not happen. But maybe we have like the Herald replay here.
Yeah.
We can bring that up. Obviously with Ziggs, it's honestly a very snowbally champ if you're able to consistently push in your lane. That didn't really happen. Daption got chunked out level 1, and then, I mean, Thresh even had a timing to go top level 2 to prevent the dive, if anyone saw that. So MU was very like guarded early game. Maybe they could have been a little bit more proactive. It seemed like they wanted to defend the GP. Maybe that was their game plan. For the Herald, it's for EGP, like, you know, it's objective with Ziggs where, you know, you can just randomly in 3 minutes with the Herald, you can take like 8 plates if you have snowballing lanes. Like, we've all been in those games where Ziggs just gets like 30 plates, 50 plates, and it's just, wow, they're up 6k gold at 14 minutes. That wasn't the case this game. It was very slow early game into just, I don't even know what was happening at one point. I mean, the ending was crazy. This is the second Herald. I mean, Smax, you can take this way. I know you want to talk about this.
This is what happens when you combine Rift Herald and Ziggs, right? You just get to take every single turret off of the map. The Evil Geniuses Prodigies actually did get to do this with the second Rift Herald. The first one, though, they used in the top lane, completely apart from Ziggs. So Sketch actually didn't get to participate that much in the siege up until this point. And They were able to get that and the Drake at the same time, which is a really big deal for Evil Genius's Prodigies. But they weren't actually able to get Ziggs off the ground, and putting Niles a little bit far behind in terms of gold to Renekton didn't actually do that much. I'm sure if you looked at the gold at that time, Niles on Gangplank with his parlay passive probably wasn't even that far behind, even though he was 5 plates behind. So I would bet that it didn't actually have that much of an impact on how Niles was feeling in that game. And you can see that because he ended up with full build. He's the only one in the whole game with it. So
he was the one catching a lot of the side waves as well, while EG was trying to find these group timings. EG, they did get 2 mid turrets off that, but MU's comp, they don't really have like a control mage. They have a lot of champions. GP is good at side lane, like he could just barrel the wave and run. Akali's really hard to catch, same with Kai'Sa. So we slowly saw MU get like a lead. They had like a 2-3k lead at one point just from CS, and they took like a couple better fights. But the one thing that was kind of disheartening was MU had like a really good stranglehold, I feel like, especially around the first Herald. They had the setup, like this is a veteran team, or like pretty experienced roster. I mean, they've been in collegiate for a while. They were there at the Herald first. They were there set up with Thresh and Jarvan, and I feel like normally at that point it's like, okay, the enemy team is like really it's a very hard position to be in, but MU kind of, I feel like they over committed into an engage, and they lost a lot of their control, and Perry's Zin's out ult just got like such tremendous value, and it just completely, like, one of the concepts is, you just got to stay in your control, and MU, they kind of left their control, and they left their fog of war, and they just pressed way too many of their buttons when they needed to just not press as many buttons and just take the free cooldowns. It's very hard, like, you got to be on sync with your teammates, like, oh, my Thresh threw a hook, like, just pile in, but it's like, no, just get his ult, like, that we're fine, we could just go take the free Herald now. You gotta like read your teammates' minds and trust them, and we didn't really see that too cleanly. There was also the Jarvan play where Jarvan like EQs Raptors while Thresh is going for a play. So I would like to see that a little bit more cleaned out. Hopefully MU can get their heads back on and like not tilt not tilt from these whatever that loss was. But yeah, let's pull up this replay here.
Yeah, we got a replay here to actually show some of the early game shenanigans that was going on inside of this. We talked quite a bit about it, and it was just a big fiasco. And this is a little bit of a plan being made, but not all the pieces were there.
Oh yeah, they could even go in Zin here as well.
Yeah.
They just got to do the same thing, and it's just you hate to see it, because like they're there, they're doing the right thing, and it's like, I feel so bad even criticizing them, because it's like, they're right there, they're doing everything so well, and then they like flop it last second, and then look here, they lose mid pressure, they're not even shoving in bottom. It's like, what is Kai'Sa doing in this situation, like, it seems very unsynchronized, and I would just like for Maryville to, have someone to like bring the team together to be more in sync.
Yeah, this is the bit we were mentioning before as well, where they were they had to give up that Drake, and they lost the top turret at the same time. Like, all that pressure cascading onto Niles, so he can't really take part in that team fight, and they were going for some picks at the same time. There's just a lot of stuff happening at the same moment against Maryville, and it led to them having that sort of scatter early game that we usually see them have a pretty clean time engaging and having a really solid plan and executing on that stage of the game.
And we got to see the chaos unfold. The pressure ended up eventually getting onto Maryville. One moment is all it took. One opportunity is all EGP needed, and I mean, we got to see it coming in full stride. This is actually a different play where they ended up catching them out at the end. This is the beginning of all the chaos.
So this play is really hilarious because Parry and Get Back are just completely 1v1ing. Honestly, like, I respect Parry a lot for this one. It is tunnel vision. So, like, in retrospect, this is definitely not the play to go for because you're giving up a lot of Drake pressure, and he does actually end up losing his team to Drake. Yeah. Exactly. So it's a pretty big struggle, especially considering Akali can TP, and then the rest of this fight as well makes it even worse. Like you've used your entire Rakan engage to get thresh hooked and then die, and then Sketch is forced into a really bad corridor as well. He's not able to really do anything in this team fight. He wants to be, you know, stationary behind his team, being that artillery mage, but he ends up just dying to Get Back's burn damage. It's really unfortunate.
Yeah, the Akali just TPs back in, and then Zinzao has to walk back in, and it's free access. You know, it's easy pick'ems at that point for Akali. And I thought after that fight, I was like, okay, they have a double mage, they have Zig Syndra, like it's gonna be really hard to win the game now. I'm not sure. Do we have the clip for the ending of what happened? Because it, like, I was literally right. Like I was talking, I was like, oh, they're gonna, like, it's such a hard game for EG now, and then just half a second and just GP dies, and then I was like, oh wait, honestly, are they just gonna end her here? I kind of jokingly, and they just like corralled mid. I was like, oh, they're gonna do it, and I was like, this is the best thing to do because your comp is kind of, you know, you're down a lot of gold. Any team has 2 mountains, then they said, screw it, let's just get it over with right now. It's kind of a flip, but it worked out. I mean, Ziggs is a menace at destroying turrets, so.
Yeah, I think everybody knows how it feels when the Ziggs is just popping off inside those turrets, being the saboteur that he was born to be. But we have a game 2 coming up. Before we send it over to the casters, I'm going to ask you guys real quick. Smats, how are you feeling? Game 2, anything you'd like to see?
Well, I'm feeling better than Maryville probably is after that one. That was a bit of a throw by the end. I'm sure Niall's kicking himself for not flashing out of that engage. It always feels really bad, you know, being the carry and dying one time, and then the Nessus explodes before you can even really pop off. So I hope they can bounce back. This is what plagued them in their series against Taco Gaming. They had a really strong lead, and then they threw it. Hopefully, they have learned from that mistake, and they can come back and keep the mental strong.
Osama, anything for you going into game 2?
I would like a game 3 if MU can could somehow get themselves together after that loss. That's a very tilting loss. So I would like to see what MU can bring out. I would like for like different drafts, honestly. I'm not too sure about. I didn't really like the drafts too much, but we'll see it. We'll see how it goes.
All right. Well, with that being said, the casters are ready. So, Dia, Rudu, take it away.
Thank you so much, folks. Our analyst desk, as always, superstars. And I gotta say, Rudude, I agree with Osama in one thing. I do want to see a game 3. I'm hoping that we get that. Well, the other thing that he said is that he didn't like the draft, and we got Gangplank in draft, so I couldn't really full commit to agreeing with him there. But game 3 I want to see.
I do as well, right? And I think that we are set up perfectly to have it because that game was so timidly set up for the early game, and then all of a sudden we had explosions left, right, and center, and those explosions landed in all of the pieces just landed in the exact same position. It was like there was this extremely close team fight, and then everything kind of kept the same. And I'm hoping that we get more of the same, more of that, when everything just keeps itself nice and consistent between the two teams, where we just get that one single moment that decides a game. It feels rough for either team, but still, we're diving right on in here. We've got a draft on our hands.
Yes, it do, Rudin. We are jumping all the way in. Jinx already picked up, and we're thinking about Nidalee, so it's a very different game already. In large part,
we're locking in Nidalee.
Now was taken away. Let's go! We've got Nidalee, and that is so terrifying. A Nautilus as well. Maryville are so upset this game.
Okay, so Nidalee locked on in here, right? I think that the style of Orange is exemplified by a Nidalee pick, because last game we saw him try to be aggressive in the early stages, didn't really work out, but was still able to find usage throughout the team fights as the Jarvan does. Nidalee, if you're behind and you don't get that early snowball, you become a very scary champion for yourself to be trying to pilot. So a lot of pressure on Orange this game. I love the support pairing with the Nautilus as well, because if you two pair up, move yourself around Summoner's Rift, the Nautilus CC is ample enough time for a Nidalee to land a spear, get that hunted damage down, and really start to put you in the dirt. On the other side of things, we have got EGP locked in the gold standard for bot lane duos, the Thresh and Aphelios for Sketch and Daption. Always been impressed by Sketch on this. Aphelios has been pumping out damage in teamfights left, right, and center, and also was able to win the game for his team last time out. So this guy obviously needs not really any introduction. And also a little callback to our previous match. If you noticed, one of the player cards there was that if Azog could pick any champion to play for the rest of his life, it would be Jinx. So it's good to see he's got his hands on what is undoubtedly a comfort pick here.
Thus it emerges. Maryville, like we said, definitely coming out swinging really hard, more so than they did in Game 1, and that was with a Gangplank pick. So if you can imagine us leveling things up even further past that, that's exactly where we're going. EGP, on the other hand, do feel like they have a lot more autonomy, and it's mostly because of the Aphelios pick that we see this time around. Sketch didn't have his choice of AD carries last time, was bullied into the Ziggs throughout the course of the draft, and now that EGP have a little bit more comfortability down in the more southern part of the Rift, I'm expecting them to have a lot more priority there as well. So much of the game last time was about Daption roaming around, and this time I want to see the map come towards EGP's bot lane a little bit more.
And I think it can do. I think that they've set themselves up lovely for that, to have this Jarvan try and facilitate your Aphelios, sets themselves up nicely. Faisal is a very strong top laner in his own right, and I think we'll be able to handle Niles here on whatever we end up seeing. This draft in itself, a lot more stock, a lot more standard, honestly. We've got jungle and bot lane, which is what we tend to see from everything. Outside of that Nidalee pick, it is pretty much as anticipated. And okay, now I will wait, because I can talk about those, but this is something that could be very entertaining. Renekton is a blind pick in the top lane, presumably can also be sort of flexed into the mid lane if there's a good matchup for it, but the sort of staple answer for the blind picks of top laners, the Jace comes through as an answer for Niles. So taking the, well, not necessarily counter pick, but a good matchup for Niles as well, something that he's been very comfortable on again throughout to go into this top lane with. Interesting.
Pretty heavy poke there at the end there with the Jace and the Zoe, and EGP. Will they figure out their answer to this? I want to highlight the Jace pick specifically, and more about what it says about Faisal than what it says about Niles, because Niles, of course, great top laner, amazing guy. We saw him on the Gangplank last game. We're gonna get to see him on the Jace, but with the Renekton constantly being locked in for Faisal, Maryville really want to win the top side, and I think Niles does as well, because people have been talking up Faisal time and time again, and if you're able to come out even or ahead onto Niles, one of the premier top laners of Amateur, this is a huge statement for Faisal, who, like we said, is very much coming up in the scene. With a Victor locked in last, of course, Leo will have a chance to shine as well, a champion that we really didn't get to see last game, but definitely another hyperscaler.
It slipped right the way through last time out, but now we get to see it. Jarvan and Victor, again, another really nice mid-jungle duo here for EGP. The Chaos Storm inside a Cataclysm will melt through absolutely anybody, particularly on this Maryville squad, since their front line consists currently of a Nautilus. And with this composition, there's absolutely no doubt that we know what Maryville are looking to do. If they ever get engaged upon, they're probably going to lose. If they're able to, though, however, buy their space, keep themselves outside of the Maryville engage rate, outside, excuse me, of the EGP engage range, their composition is going to poke, and it's going to poke hard, because they've got literally all 4 carries with a way of trying to connect that long-range source of damage, right? We've got Paddle Star, Shock Blast, Spear, Super Mega Death Rocket, Zap, even if you want to go a little bit more of a basic cooldown. Pick potential for Maryville through the roof.
Yeah, in very different ways, it focuses me on the jungle matchup this time around, because like you talked about, if Maryville are getting engaged on, they're probably not winning. You know who's going to be engaging? Probably Perry. He's got that Jarvan here has a really long engage range, and unless that Thresh is landing miracle hooks, the Jarvan is your most consistent source of it. On the other side of this, Maryville, in a totally different way, have the jungle focus on them because of the Nidalee, because of what you talked about earlier, that need to get ahead on this Nidalee, to be able to bring us to the game 3 that you, myself, and Osama all really want.
Yeah, I think that everybody wants, because game number 1, obviously, incredibly close. We want to get 3 action-packed games of that. I do want to, sort of say that or sort of the fail-safe, obviously, for both of these teams will be down in that bot lane because they've got the two really hard scaling marksmen down on that bot side of Summoner's Rift. We've got a fairly decent laning phase for the Jinx. Obviously, was previously the answer in season 11 when we saw LPL. I know a lot of the AD carries over there, and particularly Gumayushi in T1 as well over in the LCK. I would love to pull the Jinx out into the Aphelios as an answer, because in the laning phase, at the very least, Aphelios has himself at level 9. Jinx has something like 75 range over the Aphelios when he's got Sniper Gun. If not, you're an entire like 150 range, 125 range, outranging Sketch on the AD carry. So you can very easily keep this Aphelios at arm's distance, and particularly when you don't have things like boots, the get excited isn't going to be happening quite so frequently. Auto spacing down in the bot lane is actually something that wins you games, wins you trades, wins you lanes. So getting that extra range is really going to be important for the Maryville bot lane, and they've got the sort of bad end of the support matchup. I know that people have been, or rather that I call JJ for popularized the whole Thresh. You're able to counter Nautilus here. He can't find that hook on you if you stand in front of your AD carry. So there are a few little back and forths between the bot lane, but those are your sort of fail safes for both of these teams as we go into the late game.
Well, let's jump into the game. Fail safes or no, it is all on the line, especially for Maryville, who find themselves down a game. EGP right on the precipice of being able to send themselves into the playoffs here in the very first Proving Grounds qualifier. This is big for both these teams, and especially for Maryville here. One of the things that they needed to change from last game in order to come out with the win is going to be focused largely around that vision. EGP had such excellent control of being able to track on Orange at every single point last game that's something that I'd like to see Maryville adapt to, especially to get this pick composition off the ground.
Is Sketch going to be able to... Yeah, he's fine. Okay, I was a little bit scared there. He's on Shady pairing up to potentially try and force a flash, but they do get out to safety, ultimately. Level 1, fairly stock, fairly standard. It's good to see that Daption puts down that support ward, the bot lane ward right now, to make sure that there's no 2 level 1 skirmish that sort of ruins them like the previous matchup. And when it happened then. And already, I expect to see Maryville try and find some fairly early skirmishing. And you can see, level 1, they're forcing the issue a little bit here. The vision just a little bit deeper for the Nidalee than anything that Jarvan was able to put down. But he will have Sweeper up potentially to take that out. So, yes, he's going to be spotted, but the odds are that he's going to be knowing that he's spotted, and effectively that may well cancel it out a little bit, and they can operate under that information here. Both junglers pathing toward the bot lane, you have to assume, starting up on their top side. So, as we say, those insurance policies for the late game, getting a little bit of investment early on.
Yeah, Perry, just at the moment, we know was spotted out. However, down here on the bot side, we are already fighting. Daption does get that initial flay, but goes relatively low after taking the ignite. Sketch and Azog still battling it out as well, and Sketch ends up coming out a little worse for wear. Well, Shady's got that hook back up. He ends up connecting with Sketch, burning not just that heal, but maybe even the flash. Daption actually having to flash very quickly as well, and Azog and Shady, no summoner. Sketch just has the flash available, and we are going all out in bot lane.
Yeah, health pool-wise, this is an advantage from Maryville, but summoner spells, it's actually EGP that come out on top. Sketch still has his flash. Look who's in the bot lane sooner. Perry, red buff into the bot side of the map, immediately looking to try and respond, to try and help out his team where possible. He's been able to go back into his jungle, and it does actually give a little bit of a window for Orange to find just the slightest advantage here. Overall, not the worst situation for EGP. They also still have their flash. They're able to force the wave under the turret, get themselves what is effectively a cheater recall.
Nice.
The issue is they were fighting so much that the CS wasn't quite there, so the base is actually just a refillable potion instead of, you know, a long sword, a dagger, or some boots or something. But still, a good time to find the reset, get those health pools back, where Maryville won't be able to respond, and already, Daption out on the map, looking to try and find something somewhere else, at least, on the Rift.
Yeah, some really critical sustain now on board. In the meantime, with Get Back being able to lay down a little bit of vision up towards the top side, Maryville find themselves in the position the EGP were in last game. They know exactly where Perry is, and it's keeping their bot lane safe. It's keeping everyone safe, and it may very well be killing Daption as we get a bunch of pings being laid down towards the bottom end of the Rift. and Odd Orange is going on an aggressive invade. Already up 4 CS on this. Nidalee gonna make it 8 very much right now with the pickup of the Rift Scuttle, but it is all about getting this Nidalee a little bit more momentum, and right now that is something they have in spades.
So we'll be able to likely take the golems and get back to base. Probably going to be ahead of Perry in terms of the tempo of the game because he's only got one more camp to clear out, and maybe odds even be that Perry doesn't get to a crab on the top side, so may have to sort of lose out a little bit in his gold for taking a slightly better back timing to be out on the map. You see the way that this wave in the top side is slowly pushing toward Maryville is going to be a little bit of a concern for Faisal up in this top lane, as Odd Orange is, instead of going back to base, making his way down into the spot lane. No flash on Daption means he's an incredibly easy target to try and focus.
Shady's already set up for the hook as well. There it connects, and the Chompers right behind him give you no way out. First blood goes to Odd Orange. The creative pathing, the early fighting of the bot lane, it all leads up to this.
And I wondered if they were going to go for a dive there. Azog, they had the opportunity to just hold the wave and, you know, let it push back out, but they don't. They push forward, unable to find the dive though. Odd Orange looking to try and get back to his topside jungle, which is currently being taken by Perry. A bit of a window of opportunity, a little bit capitalized on here by the Jarvan in the jungle. Have to wait and see if Orange can get here in time.
Get it! Oh my god, he got it! That's so ridiculous!
Oh, no.
Able to get away with that. Now Perry in a lot of trouble. No drag either. This is going to be a lot of damage taken by him. Flashes away from Odd Orange, but like you say, he may very well be gone. A little bit of assistance over the wall from Niles. Odd Orange not able to pick up the kill just yet, but flashes over the wall to answer back on Perry. And this Nidalee is so scary and so in charge of your top side.
Dia, what did we say about top lane? What did we say about the jungle here? Odd Orange needed to find success. His first base, Sorcerer shoots for the penetration, Darkseal for the snowball. He is looking to get this game off to the races here. He got first blood down in the bot lane after his duo were scrapping it out left, right, and center, and he's already got 2 stacks on that Darkseal after a little bit of a fumble from Perry. Good to see that he's immediately here to shadow his top laner and mean that he can pick up a few minions.
Nice.
And look at this already. Both supports already on the top side of the map. This game is being played around the junglers, not the junglers playing around this game.
Yeah, I was hoping we would get some attention towards the bot side, but I guess I'm not going to get that. They're just going all the way back up top. Maryville really want to put Faisal on the ground, but he's able to escape once again, and props to him for absorbing so much pressure from not just Odd Orange, but Shady as well. Over on the bot side, repercussions aren't really being felt either. Both AD carries look at each other and go, all right, you're alone too? I get it, man.
let's just have a nice time, okay? We can farm peacefully. We'll have a little symbiotic relationship for a couple of minutes time here. And, you know, it's good to see as well that not just Maryville trying to force so much issue on the top side, but that, as you mentioned, nothing is lost on this bot side. The repercussions of it are that they lose their Raptors. Azog, quite wisely, walks forward, takes out the Krugs of his own jungler to, you know, not even counter jungle, but to just make sure that they're not stolen away as well. It is going to give Perry a little bit of time to go back to his own jungle now and clear up, but guess what? This is time. The Odd Orange can be out on the map. The Odd Orange can be affecting his team, affecting plays, and starting out some more chaos. Overall, Sketch currently out in front in those AD carries in the bot lane, so you have to bear that in mind.
Nice leave the trouble bubble. A little bit more damage for a get back here. Not going to hurt, especially as this dragon is up pretty soon, and Odd Orange is right in place with the wave crashing in mid lane. Maryville are instead going to use that little bit of an advantage to try and go for a dive. Not going to find that, but they do find Perry, so why not go for him instead? Odd Orange takes away the jungle camps, already a level up here, ends up spelling his demise as Shady secures the last auto, but this Nidalee so terrifying. Now the jungler, now his jungler, now his jungle, now the dragon, likely all gonna go the way of Maryville.
Yeah, Shady secures that with the rapid fire cannon auto, apparently, as Perry's actually sliding away and just gets a 400 range auto attack. Dragon is going to be the price that ETP have to pay.
Nice.
Get back bullying.
Oh, nice. He actually might get him here. Ignite comes down and Get Back picks up the kill underneath the tower, getting away from that Chaos Storm with the extra movement speed. Maryville are getting everything right now, and this is completely different from what we saw in Game 1. They are so aggressive here, and it looks so good.
yeah, remember your way back to the draft. We said, A, that they needed to be aggressive. Check number one. But their solo lane counter pick went to the top lane. Leo had his answer in the mid lane, and Get Back is outperforming on it. He took this Zoe blind, saying, I don't care what your answer is, I will best you on it. And this is the exact reason why. Flashes forward, Ignite goes down, fade away underneath the turret, underneath the Chaos Storm, underneath the Gravity Well. He does not care. Solo kill in the mid lane. Absolutely beautiful for Get Back. And this is why I've been so high on this guy as a player. I really think he can be a contestant for the mid lane talent pool here in North America.
Already very clearly making this game a lot more difficult for EGP than I'm sure they wanted it to be. At this point, just one game away from sending themselves to playoffs. They have lost everything in the early game. 4 kills to nothing. A Dragon gone the way of Maryville. A Rift Herald gone the way of Maryville. They might get their first kill here, however, as Daption ends up bringing Perry into the bot side, and Azog, well, he's gonna die. There's no two ways about that. Last auto secured by Daption, and a nice flash away as well. Should mean the EGP get that kill and may just get this turret as well.
Yeah, Sharkrams will melt through this one here, and I mean, I don't know what Shady's hoping to provide that Azog couldn't. It looks like just that brute tankiness is going to be what he's giving here. Leo, he's been forced to flash in that mid lane as well, so things going from bad to worse in the mid lane. EGP have got that saving grace of taking down the bot lane AD carry. And yes, the kill goes on to Daption, but it's a lot better than that overall. They're able to deny a lot of CS, a lot of gold into the Jinx, and Sketch comes back to lane with a distinct item advantage here. Gale Force versus just the components for the Jinx is going to give them a slight window of opportunity here to play around Sketch as this AD carry to potentially be that win condition. Remember, the fail-safes for both these teams rolls down to the bot lane, and when one fail-safe is ahead of the other, you know which one you're going to favor.
Yeah, this is really nice, honestly, just to get that little bit more insurance coming through. You're never going to be upset with an Aphelios that is a kill up, or even just that little bit of an item advantage. However, Maryville definitely do find themselves a little upset. Sketch flashing away is going to be put to sleep, but should still come out of this. Oh my lord alive! Never mind, a super mega death rocket spelled the end of him very quickly. Now equalized in this bot side with Maryville still on a rampage. They're going to pick up a second kill, with Azog getting even more excited as the turret and 2 assists end up being his.
Just one misstep here. We saw it in game number 1, how detrimental it can be. In game number 1, it costed Maryville the game. Game number 2, it's going to cost EGP their bot lane turret and a lot of farm here that may well go to waste. It looks like Sketch is actually back up in time to collect the most of this, which is, you know, pretty good news for him, honestly, because that is a lot of gold that would have been going down the drain otherwise. But stepping up to the Nautilus, who is walking with purpose towards you. Sketch will probably only do that once this game, and he's just done it right there. So we'll have to wait and see if those adaptations do tend to come through. Gale Force and Flash Heal. Still not enough to get you away from Get Back's paddle stars and his bubbles as well, which have just been absolutely lethal this game.
Almost wish we could get a replay on that, but in the meantime, I mean, Get Back will likely do it again. He has been threading these Sleepy Trouble bubbles through everything, sometimes even popping up into Leo's face and throwing him down point blank, which is particularly entertaining. But now, as he ends up clearing yet another mid lane wave, he gets to pop in and apply some pressure towards the jungle once again. Perry has been suffering all game, and right now is getting denied his top side. Faisal in trouble here as the entirety of the Maryville Goon squad has showed up to take him down.
Okay, Shady starts this off and then Odd Orange hits.
Dominus popped, and oh my lord, with the Super Mega Death Rocket connecting, the flash gets expended, but Faisal still cannot survive. Sketch Streams is going to answer on the bot side, taking down their first tower of the game. EG do finally get that structure answered, but Maryville still very much in a commanding lead right now, being denied a few plates in the mid lane. Definitely a trade that EGP are happy with. However, Niles just as happy up top.
You know, I spoke to Jensen before this series, and he, you know, I asked, okay, why have we opted into Orange and Azog this game? And I think that this is the perfect example for why they've chosen Orange. He came back and said, well, Orange is fairly aggressive, We like to use Azog as a complementing factor because he tends to temper that aggression. This game, he picked the Nidalee. I think that this is one where we're going to be saying, you know what, you do what you need to do to get ahead, and Orange has taken that to heart here. Proto Belt as well on the Nidalee, so any extra mobility that he can find, he's just taken for himself.
No one's getting away from that. At this point, you see Odd Orange, especially if he lands a spear on you, you're just dead, and that goes for anything. Champions, dragons, and holy moly Renekton's that end up taking spears for a third of their HP. Now the dragon gonna go down. Chemtech now falling means that Odd Orange gets that little bit of an edge and gets to reveal what soul we have next, what Maryville can continue terrorizing the Rift with. Good news. The EGP at least get to continue funneling gold into Sketch.
Yeah, and I really like this from them here. This is good heads-up play whenever you are behind. The best thing to do is just avoid the death ball that Maryville have got, and they're doing a good job at that. They are extending their lead on the Aphelios quite well. The question really becomes, what are they losing on the bot side? They lost the Drake first of all, this tier 2 now under siege. If they can defend it or not, it's going to be the operative question. Looks like Azog is probably going to get all 600 gold of this funneled into himself, because he has to get excited and just get away to safety.
Nice stuff from him. Still, though, 30 CS separating him and Sketch, no small thing, and actually likely equalizing quite a bit, if not entirely, back into the favor of Sketch. It is going to be a battle between these two late-game insurers. It seems, however, as the game continues going at this rate, does he really get... He's fine, he's fine.
I thought he was going to BM interrupt. You know, that is like the epitome of when you're bored on Jinx. You just start firing ults to interrupt people. But this time, unfortunate miss. He's had some good rockets, though. To be fair, he nailed one onto... Literally killed Sketch with his last one. Made sure that it was a 5-man assist onto Faisal in the top lane as well, so... You're allowed one.
That's pretty wild.
And that was a pretty non-impact.
I like the cross-map rocket there as well. This guy is definitely seasoned on the Jinx, living up to the comment card from the first game. However, it's definitely not just him. There's an army up towards the top side once again. And Perry, probably going to die here, does end up flashing away, but now everything's going to connect, and he is going to die. There is no two ways about it. You see the Nidalee on your screen? You're already gone.
Yeah, pick potential. It's what Maryville have got, and it means that when they walk forward into your jungle and you don't have vision to spot them out, those things can happen on repeat. And now, yeah, they don't have the depth charge, but things like hook into snare from a Nautilus tends to be more than enough time. And I'm really glad to see, once again, Maryville using that jungle support duo. When you've got a Nidalee that is this far ahead, it is a lethal duo here. You only need one source of damage to take one person down, the Nautilus to set it all up. And Maryville, they've got themselves a really good point right now, and we'll have to wait and see if they can close it out for them. They've done all of the good things that I would like to see them do to start closing it out. It's force your way into the jungle, take vision, find those picks, find those pockets, and when you've got a Mountain Soul, it's not the biggest win condition, but we expect them to be able to take that within the next 7 or 8 minutes or so, just dependent on when those respawns end up coming through. And you can see already that their objective control should be very good. Poke reigns supreme at these objectives, and once Baron gets in their back pocket, that's going to be the hard part. Once it's in there, once they can start sieging with this composition, they are going to be loving life.
Yeah, then you got absolutely nothing to worry about. In the meantime, though, you do definitely have to be concerned about this, with Faisal slicing his way out away from Shady. This support on Maryville definitely not taking things slow. Daption, however, does answer with a hook right back, and Niall's going to go low and even going to be taken down for the Infernum Moonlight Vigil. Sketch picks up that kill, continues stacking up gold for two teams that do really like late-game team fighting. I gotta say, Maryville are doing well, but they are not out of the woods yet.
They are not, and getting more gold onto Sketch is AEGP's dream right now. That shutdown and the gold that is given over as a cost of it, going all the way into Sketch's back pockets, is exactly what they want to see. They've even got a bit of a window up on this top side where the waves weren't particularly answered by Maryville, and Leo has caught himself up a little bit further to his mid lane counterpart, still down in levels. There's a big bubble hits. Will there be a response?
Oh my lord. Well, a lot of damage going to connect. Objective bounty did go over though, and Perry should be able to survive, but as Get Back just jumps over the wall, he's going to say absolutely not to that. Objective bounty pretty much equalized now, as Perry, unfortunately, did go down, but we did manage to pick up another one inside of the mid lane. Faisal, once again, recognizing that Shady is not going to leave him alone, does try and get out over the wall, and looks like he's going to make it out, if only barely.
Yes, by the skin of his little crocodilian teeth, does manage to break over the wall. What is that all going to be?
Now he might be dead. Dominus does get popped. There he goes. Get back. Plenty of damage into him. Does pick up the kill. And Azog going wild underneath the tower as well. Reduces adaptation to a mere half HP. As Leo tries to play dodgeball underneath his tower. He's not going to get out in time. Instead, eats a bunch of damage going to sub 100 HP. And Odd Orange still relatively healthy in comparison to the entirety of the EGP roster. Should be able to back off truly nicely onto this Dragon Mountain coming up, and with the Rift Herald dropped in the mid lane, Maryville are going to collect so much.
Insult to injury right there. The good body blocking from Perry honestly keeps his mid laner alive, but that's of little consequence. You're going to end up losing mid-tier 2, charge on mid-tier 3, and the Drake as well. Soul Point now going over to the Maryville squad. Really good start for them here, and with the Soul Point now in their favor, with this 5,000 gold lead, we expect them to be able to continue snowballing here. 2 Dark Seals that are almost fully stacked. Get back on Odd Orange have really not been missing all that frequently, and with these skill shots, it's incredibly important. Question now becomes if they can continue to snowball and continue to try and close out this game. We're not even at a time where Baron exists in this game, and that's one of these situations where you think to yourselves, well, what now? Because they've taken literally everything outside of EG Prodigy's base. They've even had a Herald charge onto the base itself. And typically you think, well, now we'll go turret. But that's just not an option.
Yeah, at this point, you gotta wait at least for the next 45 seconds. We are pretty darn close, and Maryville are taking this as an opportunity to gather a little bit more gold, get their waves in the right position, because they, as well as you and I, have seen this before. They know that Baron really is going to be the be-all and end-all. EGP have got to have that data too, but Shady, once again, going on the roam into the enemy jungle, laying down the Vision is going to be the difference maker, as Vision has been time and time again. Last game, it was the Daption story, being able to constantly set EGP up for success, and this time, Maryville have really worked together extraordinarily to set themselves up for this next Baron. Even flank it around EGP right now. They could go for an engage. I wonder if they'll do that or if they'll have mercy.
And I want to, well, again, draw your attention, our path to LCS. The series is indeed a banger. Thank you very much. And I'm expecting game number 3. Orange could be caught, but who's actually caught here?
There is a Cataclysm down, so engagement has followed, but flash away means that EGP now really have no way to close the gap. Faisal trying desperately to get a stun, does end up baiting in the hook from Shady, and as he goes down, Azog still gets the chance to pop off alongside Get Back. Leo going so low as well, gets crit directly to the Kisser. He falls down, and Perry just barely able to get out, ends up leaving the sleepy Trouble Bubble to land onto Sketch. He disappears, and Maryville, after having claimed 3 of EGP lives, now get to back off onto the Baron they set up ages ago.
That's the definition of a wallet slap right there. We said in the draft that if EGP get on top of Maryville, they're going to have a good time. Unfortunately, they're just too far behind right now. They've just got too much damage, and that insurance policy of Azog, he was put down a little bit in the early stages, got dove a couple times, but not quite enough to keep him out of the game, out of the lurchers. It is going to be the Baron going over to objective after objective, kill after kill. And you can see, look, Orange potentially caught out, and they even get this nice engage on. This Trouble Bubble connects onto your front line. Again, beautiful. They got this 5-man death pack that they can roam through the jungle with, but it's just the long-range poke. Azog is able to free hit this entire time, and yes, they're able to take down the support, but that is of little consequence when your mid laner gets bubbled. And then Azog here holds his flash, which is incredibly good. Look at Get Back's bubble. The no look, and then this is just AD carry in season 2022. Holy moly!
I actually feel really bad for him, but at the same time, man, that was fun to watch.
Yeah.
Maryville, the coordination on deleting Sketch from the game, they knew exactly the hand that can feed EGP at this point, and right now, there aren't a whole lot of options for EGP. They haven't got the summoners, they haven't got the manpower to contest this soul that's coming through, and instead, they are eating spears, or at least just barely dodging them.
How do you get into the river if you're EGP? Because you're checking into areas that you have no vision in. One control ward over the wall is all that there is, and Maryville, they don't catch Leo, which is a good thing. But they're trying to, you can tell that EGP, when they're trying to walk forward, walk through this choke, they're just going to get bombarded by everything. And when Maryville still have this Baron, there's no reason that they can't just break open the base hands down. And this inhibitor is going to easily fall because guess what? Siege composition is much akin to a poke composition, and that's exactly the sort of style that Maryville have opted into this game with this lead. They're sparing no expense.
Get
Could just be
back.
death.
Could get a kill here. Daption so low, and Azog threading the needle once again with that death rocket. This is why you do not give Azog Jinx, and I'd be surprised if you're giving Zoe over to get back anytime soon either. Maryville terrifying with this composition on these players, and EGP are floundering for answers, sending 3 into the mid lane. Well, their base is going to get sieged down.
Oh, he's just flashed.
Shady, nice hook. Then that's another deletion. It's just, there's just no way that you get out, and Maryville have so much free reign. Dragon is coming up, and they don't even care. They get to take down this inhibitor. Azog completely unafraid, and with Faisal on a flank, Para going for a 4-man cataclysm. Will it be enough? Faisal has gone in, and well, he did end up getting a lot of damage. No kills have come through just yet. Instead, Daption jumping away, just barely. Not getting that hook connected onto him. Doesn't manage to get out alive, but it's 2 kills down for EGP, and Maryville lose absolutely nothing, instead catapulting themselves to a 9,000 gold lead and now a soul.
And the soul, the inhibitors, that again, another example of just what could have been for EGP had this game not been so one-sided through the early stages. A 4-man cataclysm into Dominus, Cool the Meek across 5 people as well. Unfortunately, Sketch used his Infernal ulti earlier. Had that gone down, I think they may have even been able to turn the fight around right there. But they just weren't quite able to do so. And yeah, this is the attempted efforts on this bot side. Shady, this is off the back of a good flash play to take down the mid laner, but Perry walks through. This is all on vision, so Maryville know exactly what's going on right here, and that's the Infernum that sets it up. Sort of says, hey, we could potentially do this. 4-man Cataclysm, yep, that's great, gets melted. When Ekton jumps in, he's able to, pump out some good damage, but not quite enough to kill them. And like we say, wallet slappers right here, it's sort of the MO for Maryville, because that fight was not pretty for them, but they got away because they didn't, or because there was no damage for EGP.
It's a really sick Cataclysm, honestly. Like
it was.
I don't even.
It was all really good. They just didn't have it.
Like it was sick. It was awesome. It was actually the perfect Cataclysm for EGP, just not at the perfect time. And really, honestly, I don't think there is a perfect time at this point, and unless of course you're thinking about next game, because right now. EGP are going to have to wait a long time before they're even close to relevant. Maryville are going to have to make a lot of mistakes along the way. However, with Faisal on a flank, he may just find some sort of answer. Odd Orange is going to get stunned. There's a lot of damage pumped into him, but the Zanya's to buy time ends up almost saving his life. A Sketch does collect the kill. Shady and Niles are now in the front line. Get Back doesn't connect on Sleepy Trouble bubble either. So everybody's going to get out alive, and EGP do end up trading 1-for-1 in a, oh my lord, a surprising turn of events. That was almost 1 for 2, honestly, and oh lord, it still could be.
Yeah, but the power of super minions right here, dear, you are seeing it hand in hand, because EGP, they have to answer the waves that are crashing into their Nexus turrets, and the 1-for-1 may not be enough, dear.
There is absolutely no answer here. Azog has gone down, however, and Sketch may have clutched it out for the time being. Shady gonna get deleted as well, and with the Nexus on, I'm gonna call it 700 HP, Maryville are going to back away. We've still got super minions pushing into the base. You are not out of the woods as EGP, but they've managed to hang on for the time being, and Maryville did get a little bit too excited, at least for one moment.
Dear, we're going to do one of our patented Q&As right here. I'm going to give you a question. You have to give me a fairly basic answer, okay? How many... Okay, we'll hold on a second because we've got a replay. First of all, again, getting the bubble on to get back, as you can see, unfortunately not enough, but keep your eyes on Sketch here, and this will sort of segue into what I want to touch on here, because Gale Force forward, Q auto, and he doesn't even get the auto off. The stasis is beautiful. Essentially takes down his opponent counterpart inside a swift second. Not really a chance for Azog to answer, and the base defense is on for them. But again, back to my questions now. How many kills have EGP got?
How many kills? What do you mean?
Just how many kills have they got this game?
It's at the top of the screen.
It's easy.
They got 6
yeah,
kills.
it's 6.
Yeah.
How many kills has Sketch got?
Ooh, that's tough.
Guess.
I mean, maybe... I'm gonna say 7. All right, I was close.
Sketch.
I was close. Oh, Sketch.
How did you guess?
Oh, no. I was turning things around. I was like, oh, how many times has Azog killed him? Okay, no. Sketch.
My point
Okay, continue.
My point, dear, is that EGP are living and dying by their AD carry right now, and Sketch, he got funneled those resources in the early game. He got given the investment early on, and EGP need that return to cash out immediately. He's got 4 items now. He's got himself that Runan's Hurricane as well to help with not only the wave clear of these super minions, which is actually a very present threat, but also the big team fights. Because right now, we've got Baron. We're going to have triple inhibs in not too long a time at all. And that is all but a done game, unless Sketch can go absolutely huge here in a team fight. And a team fight, the EGP need to engage, and one that Maryville shouldn't give them the opportunity to.
I saw the teleport come through right there, and I was like, oh, you mean like right now? Like right now? Well, Perry with a 4-man Cataclysm again does set him up perfectly. Sketch, though, hasn't gotten the autos in just yet. Instead, getting hooked by Shady. He's still alive, though. Still unhinged. This guy jumping forward, gets that snipe as well, and the investment does pay off. Sketch is keeping EGP in this game against all odds.
And again, Perry, you know, he's 0-8-7, but any death from here where he sets up engages like that is more than worth it. Orange, please don't let me. Yeah, thank you. People step up for this in him.
Faisal is gone, though. Well, holy moly. Niles just taking no prisoners.
That could be the game, because that's a staggered death timer. MU are going to get back to TP in. Azog Shady, they can run through the base, and in a time where Faisal is going to be dead for an extra 20 seconds, this inhib, go on, let's see what Sketch can do, because he's got a mountain ahead of him still to climb.
If Sketch defends this inhib, I am PayPaling him something wild. I don't know yet.
Nothing, because he's defended it. Nothing.
Oh my God, you're right. I didn't finish my sentence, so I don't have to do it. However, see if Perry can pull off the miraculous engage once again. He has been the lifeblood of this team. We're giving a lot of credit to Sketch, and it's deserved because he's doing a lot of damage. But Perry is setting this team up beautifully with all of these engages on the Jarvan. Maryville definitely not letting up on the pressure, though. Again, it's going to have to come down to not 1, not 2, maybe even 3 or 4 more team fights before EGP can finally really, truly breathe.
Yep, these super minions should be able to take down an inhib. The Baron up for another 25 seconds. So that's the time window that Maryville have got. But trying to set up this poke, it's not going too well for them. It's not as easy when the space that AGP have got to work with is so large, right? They're working around in their base. There's no particular choke points for Maryville to be firing their skill shots through. Fortunate thing for them is that they've actually got a Elder Drake, which is spawning in a couple seconds time. It was the Baron that had a little bit longer.
Oh God!
When they get the Elder, they can. I've talked about smacking them with their wallets. They can do literally anything, and they should win a team fight. That's the notion of a Baron. Did they pop Dominus already?
They did.
Oh.
Faisal not
and
having
Perry's
a
half
cooldown.
HP.
This is really big, and oh my lord, that Sleepy Trouble Bubble almost caught Sketch as well. The trap's gonna go down, but everybody is ready for this this dragon, it seems, but Perry is not gonna get to participate as Faisal goes in 1v4. He's gonna go down as well, and it's the opt in for the bases. Get Back is sprinting it down that pulls all of EGP apart, with Daption trying desperately to get away from Shady. He's not gonna make it. Get Back collects that kill. Sketch Dreams now trying to stay alive himself. Doesn't have the damage to survive the 1v4, and as the rocket whizzes by him, Maryville have finally clinched themselves this game. They're gonna collect the kill onto Leo. They're gonna take the Nexus that they tried to take ages ago, and most importantly, Rude, they're gonna send us to game 3.
You know, Maryville, it took a little bit longer than it maybe should have done, but they do take us to game number 3 here. EGP, you know, they had me in the first half of that base defense, but it was such a long road to come back from. That it was harder for Maryville to lose than it was for anything, really, for any form of outcome other than a Maryville win in that game after a really strong early game, just absolutely dominant through the jungle support pairing. I really want to highlight that because Shady, we know, can be that really big roamer for the team, and we sort of highlighted the Nidalee in the draft, and we thought, they have to go aggressive with this, and Orange delivered.
Really did, and I can only hope that we get to see something like this coming up next game, because for two teams that were neck and neck, that both love that late game team fighting, seeing these two styles really come together was amazing, and it makes me so excited for what we're going to get in that third game. Before that, of course, we're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back in just a few minutes.